Hello there and welcome back to Inner Sanctum, the place where I show you all my tricks, but pull them off live right in front of you. And today is going to be probably the one before the last episode in this saga, this series, this episodic cinematic universe that we started off a few weeks ago on Bitwig. And today I'm going to be doing something quite stupid, quite reckless, quite irresponsible, which is adding yet more analog stuff to be controlled through MIDI. Okay, I even could hear that one. Let me fix it. But in the meantime, what do you think?
So, first and foremost, hello girls and boys, how's it going? Very glad to be back, great to have you here as well. And since I'm a little bit more in the behind the scenes here, I saw a little bit of the setting up for today, and there's some very interesting stuff coming along, and I hope you guys like it.
Okay, so with that enthusiastic introduction, let's get into it. Welcome back to Bitwig Studio. In front of us got the project, and for a reason, super zoom thing, isn't it?
Kinda, yeah.
It is very zoom thing. Let me check. Why?
One thing that I noticed.
Yes. Oh, is this
Okay.
fixed?
Is that my signal is coming very. Let me here.
Yeah, check it on your end because I'm gonna.
But
Yeah.
just by looking at it, I'm not seeing my signal popping up there.
You are not coming in because. Good point. Let me check.
Hey,
You should be coming in.
I am not.
You're not coming in.
I
Oh,
was before. Why?
check your microphone if it's on, man. It has the.
It is on.
Okay, scratch it.
Nope.
Okay, whatever. Let's press play and while we fix this up. Here we go from the top. Okay, even though I had to deal with so many things while the track was playing, because I was trying to fix the positioning of the screen while this thing was going, also fixing his microphone that for whatever reason got slightly unplugged. Now you can speak to the public.
I can speak to them, and allegedly they can hear me.
They can't hear you right now, so yes. So first and foremost, what do you think?
I actually didn't have fully clear in my mind what had been done last week. But hearing it back now, I quite like the sections that were added. I quite like that new kind of more moody, a little bit more low dynamic section.
Darker sounding, right?
Yeah, and darker sounding. I think it's adding quite a lot of personality to the whole of the track, and is allowing to kind of reach the end now.
Yes, it feels that we're taking the track final closer to its final form.
Yeah,
The development of the music and the song structure starting to shape up. It now feels like a track rather than just a collection of ideas.
yeah.
There is a progression now. Now, let's begin. I'm gonna get to this area first because this new section, the modulation, is where the track is feeling. Well, of course, it's ending, but there is a huge change in everything here. I'll play back from this section just for you to get an idea. There, the change in pacing, and not only that, you get the, how can I describe it? The whole personality of the song develops into something else. It feels a little bit aggressive because before it was chill and kind of fun, but intellectual to a certain degree. But at this point, the track takes a very dark turn.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
there's an edge to this.
There's an edge to it. It kind of asks for a little bit more of energy in the sense of it being more kind of evil sounding, for lack of a better term. Okay, we are now gonna be having to think in that term. That's a nice progression. I gotta admit that I am also kind of surprised. I didn't remember it being like this, so that's good. Okay, let's begin. So what am I gonna do? All the way up to this point, I think we got a very good a very good foundation for the what is yet to come. The track itself at this stage, I think, feels like already establishes the sound. So let's begin from this guy. We got this pad over here. It sounds like this. Has plenty of different sounds that are part of it. If I recall correctly, we developed this bad boy using Contact, but we're using two different libraries here. We're using Arcus, and also we're using Analog Dream together. We're blending them together because the way I like to work with Contact is like if I were to be working with a sampler from ages past. You put layer on top of layer to create a final sound. And the benefit of using Contact is that you can actually be very nitty gritty with each of the different samples because Contact is a sampler, it's not a synthesizer. So that's why I like to look at it from that perspective. Okay, so the sound is that. I think I will use this as my foundation for the track. In this section, I think I could go for a drone note. Let's check the tonality. There it is. So let's just quickly record that particular note, and from there we begin. Logic. Mistake. I forgot to disarm these two guys. Be mindful of that. That was once again my muscle memory from Logic. Here we go once again. I'm gonna give me a few more bars. Yeah. What happened? Don't know. Here we go once again. Sorry for that. record. Here we go. Okay, I went even more sinister than before.
Yeah.
That's the point. Let's
Gotta
see.
say, quite a performance.
Quite a performance, of course. Thank you. That was fantastic. Yeah, I forgot to turn on the metronome. Okay, so from here, let's add some drums, but let's go for this guy, which is just the kick drums. Let's see what we get. Looping. Way too dark. I'm gonna push these guys to the next octave. So there. That's it. Okay. Now let's see. I'm gonna do something similar, but this time around with my bass here on Mariana. But in this case, let's see. Yeah, it's basically the same key. So let's see. Okay, kind of works. I'm gonna duplicate this section. You know what? I'm gonna duplicate the duplicate because we can do plenty of stuff with our arpeggiators and synthesizers. So let's see. I don't know. I'm not fully sold here with this section. So what I'm gonna do is let me take a look at it. This final bar, I'm gonna remove the kick. These guys, but this is a loop. So let's not gonna loop that one. I'm gonna duplicate. That guy is looping. Okay, in here, this section, I think I'm gonna remove all of these kicks. Let me just zoom in. What's in Logic? Not that much. There is. And yeah, I'm gonna just one section. This guy is correct. This one is the one that I'm gonna remove all of the kicks. Out. But not of the loop, damn it. Okay. There we go. Let's see how it sounds. Better, right?
Yep.
It feels more musical because just having the whole once again would be kind of redundant because we come after another space without drums. So let's see. Now in this section, I think I'm gonna be using now the synthesizers. Let's play with those. First one. I think I'm gonna use the Juno first. Juno. That guy over there.
Guy over there.
Yeah, and it's already connected. This bad boy over here is a beast from the 80s. we're gonna be already. Well, I already connected to the system. It's already hooked up to the MIDI interface, which in this case is actually the machine, because the machine has actually many functions, and one of them is acting as a MIDI interface. It has a MIDI in and out, and a through, I think, as well. And what I'm doing with this is I am connecting my machine into my system, my USB drive here. From there, I'm sending the MIDI information through the USB connection to the machine. From the machine, we're outputting all of the MIDI information that comes out of Bitwig into the Juno, but the Juno has a beautiful MIDI through, which allows for the same information to be sent out to another synthesizer or another series of synthesizers. And in this case, the chain ends here on the Moog. And the best part of it, yeah, is kind of like that. But the best part is that since I have them working in different channels, the Juno is the Moog is working in channel 1, and the Juno is working in channel 2. That means that they can be controlled through the same MIDI platform without playing the same notes at the same time, unless I tell them to do it. And you can do it up to you can connect up to 16 devices to work independently and being controlled through one cable using the through protocol since the 80s. How badass is that?
Once again, gotta love MIDI.
You gotta love MIDI. It's such a clever thing. So let's begin. How to do it? First, I'm gonna I'm gonna add. Let me make sure that I select it here because it's gonna be Fanglisto. I'm gonna add a new instrument track. Important. From here, we're gonna insert hardware. I think it stands for H. Yeah, that way. Instrument. Okay, thank you very much. From here, double click, and we're gonna select channel 2 because this is gonna be the Juno out, and we're gonna select the device that is gonna be sending stuff out, which is in this case machine MK3. Bam. So, if everything goes according to the plan, if I push my controller, signal should come in. It is working, but you can't hear anything. Why? Because I confirm it by looking at my controller here, my interface has a display here showing me the output level of each of the different sounds coming in. Okay? And by pressing the button, I know that there is some signal coming in. But we need to hear it, right? So let's do it. From here, I'm gonna then create yet another channel. This is gonna be an audio track. Bada bing, bada bang. And in this case, I'm gonna select the inputs for it to be 3 and 4 because those are the channels that I have the Juno connected to. Then, if everything goes according to the plan and I press a button, so 80s.
Yeah, but they didn't hear it.
They didn't hear it. You're correct. Thank you for reminding me. The sum. Where is the sum? The sum. And now they hear it, right?
Yeah, like a charm.
Like a charm. Excellent. Beautiful. So it sounds very cool. So now that means that if I write down any form of MIDI signal on the instrument, hardware instrument, track, that information, that MIDI information is going to be sent into the Juno. So first, let's correctly name these guys. Rename. This guy is going to be Juno in. And this guy is going to be, how did I make it? Yeah, Juno MIDI.
Keeping it consistent.
Yeah. Juno MIDI. Perfect. Now, let's play around with it. I'm gonna just make it louder so we can hear it better. And now, I wanna do this with the support of my reverb that it's coming in the form of the Eventide space. That bad boy over there. Right now, it's off. I'm gonna turn it on. Let's see what we get.
Instant awesome.
Instant awesomeness. That is not what we want. So, look, I wanna create some form of super evil sounding ambience. So what I'm gonna do is, it would be great if they can see me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change to a different algorithm on the reverb, which is an algorithm that it's called mangled verb. Mangled verb it's reverb plus distortion. So it's gonna distort the reverb.
Yep, let's see.
And it's the stereo, so let's see. The way to go is gonna be simple. We're gonna go here. Room, plate, spring, dual verb, reverse, mode verb, black hole, mangled verb. Excellent. Let's see. Kinda shy.
You can go crazier.
The idea is go stop stupid. And you know what? I'm gonna mix the whole thing in. Like it. Bad for a reason it's way too low in volume. Let's increase the output. Like it, but should be longer. See? Okay.
Is already sounding dystopian enough for you?
A little bit. It could be more dystopian. Let's see. I'm gonna just use my MIDI signals that are already created. I'm gonna copy the guy from the path because the plan is to reinforce this particular sound. And the beauty of this is that now that I got it there, I'm gonna loop it just for the lows. Let's see. I'm gonna press play, and allegedly should be sent into the and then we're gonna be able to hear it here. How badass was that?
That was actually pretty good.
That's freaking awesome, right? And this is me just tweaking and twisting knobs randomly. But that's the beauty of this stuff. So, I kind of like it because the idea is to change the mood even further. Because the track is already kind of giving this vibe of it's getting bad. Something's going wrong.
It's hitting the fan.
Yeah, it's hitting the fan. So, okay, now let's hit it with a passion. So, let's see how it fares once again from the back. And from there, we're going to be able to get inspired better, allegedly. Here we go. And I'm going to even... No, not now. Let's go. Pay attention to the way that the song flows, okay? Getting somewhere.
Yep.
Getting somewhere.
I love how the mango verb, the distortion added is actually adding quite a little bit of aggression
Aggression.
to the sound.
But without being like heavy distorted guitar, right?
Yeah, yeah. The thing is that on the first pad that you created, it was already adding the dark element, and now you added a layer of aggression to that dark element.
Exactly. Exactly. Look, I'm trying to put as much emphasis to the philosophy behind the composition aspect of writing music, because there is no point of having access to toys if you don't have a plan for them. So, in this case, as Tiago put it, I first created a layer of kind of eeriness and darkness to the sound that I later, with the use of this new sound, I stacked it up and created a much more aggressive, yet not in your face sound, like something a little bit more of on the it's subtle, if that makes sense. And Robbie, good to have you here. Awesome. So no worries. Let's see. I'm gonna now. Let me think. How about if we tweak the sound of the unit first before we commit to the sound, because we have to record it. That's one of the things. Since we're dealing with MIDI, even though I can save the session as it is, it's better to record the sound because what we're actually hearing is the Uno coming back into the interface. You saw me at one point actually working with the gain because it was a little bit too hot and then a little bit too low and then just balancing, making it right. So what I'm going to do now is show you the second trick. Over here, we got the Uno Alpha. For those of you who have been following the channel, you know that I use this guy to control the actual synthesizer, the Uno, through the use of MIDI. But there is one more trick under my sleeve. Can you show them the board?
I can show them the board.
Yeah, but just bring the board on the main shot, the one with Logic, Bitwig.
Okay.
That one. Look at this. You got the controllers here, right? The VCA. Can you see it, Thiago?
Yes, I can see it.
My mouse is gonna be here. Can you see the mouse? What? Don't you love the UF8 even more now?
Yeah, that thing is awesome.
Isn't it fantastic? Yeah, as you saw it, I actually mapped the controls to set the sound to my UF8. Now I'm able to control the Uno through the use of an actual hardware unit, and it's fantastic. And just by switching to the different layers, I can control. This is the one controlling Bitwig. This one is controlling the Uno. But if I go to page one, we control the effects and the plugins and the stuff that we assign to these controllers on Bitwig.
No, pretty awesome.
So good, man. It's just the good stuff. Okay, so let's begin. Let's now create a pad out of this. I'm gonna take the loop region and I'm gonna make sure that we got a cycle. Now, I'm gonna show you once again this guy because this is gonna be better for you to have an idea of what I'm doing to the sound of the synth. Okay, easy. The Uno works in the following. You got the envelope because this is the well, first and foremost it has the oscillators here. You got a pulse, you got a saw, you got a sub frequency that could be added, and also a noise generator, and the different waves. Some of them have pulse modulation, pulse width modulation. That's awesome, which is controlled by the LFO rate. Then our BCF, the voltage control filter, it's a low pass filter that also can act as a high pass filter as well. And it's also can be assigned to be controlled through the use of the envelope over here because it only has one envelope, or the LFO. Fantastic. It's very good. And you can set them out. Then you got, of course, the way that you are going to be triggering the gate, which is dynamic, following the envelope, gated, or dynamic and gated. So yeah. Then you got your envelope, which is the stuff of legend. The envelope in this guy works in this fashion. You got T's and L's. What do you do with the tits? With the tits? Well, you know what to do with it. No, what do you?
I should know.
What you should? What do you do with the T's? The T's stands for time. This is what controls, as you can see, the attack. In this case, T1 is the attack. but L1 stands for the amplitude of the attack. Okay, so you can see that the envelope behaves in this fashion, and even this plugin, this has a particularly amusing graphic display. Okay,
Good.
so this is the T, it's pushing it in time, forward or backwards, and the T is pushing its amplitude, how loud it goes, before it moves to the next step of the envelope, and the same applies to everything. Is the only difference when compared to other more simplified versions, or more simplified, simpler designs of envelopes. Then, when you go to the chorus, which is probably the best part of the Juno, let me see where I have my controls for the chorus. Here's the chorus rate. Yeah, so here we go. Look, right now is without chorus. Let me turn off the reverb. Already cool, super cool, right? But let's add chorus.
The chorus on this Juno in particular sounds so good.
The chorus on this unit in particular not only sounds so good, also has a difference, because if you are a Juno connoisseur, as you should, the Juno, the first Juno was the Juno 6, if I recall correctly, no MIDI. And the Juno, it's famous for its chorus, but the chorus on the 660 and 106 was set, which means that it had only three options: off, mid, and a lot. What makes the Juno Alpha, which is the one that I got here, different from those guys is that you can actually control the amount. As you can see, you got full-on control, and it's controlled. I assign it to this fader, and you can see that it changes. And it actually affects quite dramatically the sound. And it's unique, because it's not a regular chorus. It's the Juno chorus. So let's create a sound. I'm going to press play. I'm going to use this loop. And I'm going to, first, without the reverb, because I would like to see if we can get some form of actual coming in and out through the use of the envelope sound, so it's more eerie and ominous. Here we go. Let me make sure that the region is correct. Oh. Badass, right?
No, this for real. And I love that there's a small dip coming after the attack.
Yeah.
That is adding this very nice motion after you see the rise of the pad. That's quite cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because you see the point, right?
Yeah.
The idea was just to create and play with the reverb to create this ominous and evil sound and thing. Now, I think we're going a little bit overboard with the distortion. But I might be wrong. And probably I am. But let's see. Now I'm going to go to the other guy. So when are you ready? Because I'm not. Here we go. So good, right?
Yeah.
Let me explain what happened. when I went to the pedal, I reduced a little bit the amount of distortion on it because it's a little bit too much. It was a little bit too much. Also, I then came back to the controls of the Juno, and I played around a little bit with the amount of envelope affecting the automation of the filter. I like what it's doing, but there is a little bit of too much high end on the sound. But I just remember right now that I have control over the high end on the pedal. So let's fix it there. So here we go. That was excellent, right?
No, that was pretty cool. And look, now it's even darker still.
It's darker, yes.
Yeah.
It's getting more ominous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to feel even. You know what I mean. So, now I don't know how do you feel about. Well, I don't care. No, I don't know how do you feel about the attack. I think I went a little bit too overboard with the attack. It's way too slow. I might be wrong, but let's see. Because I would like it to be a little bit faster, just a tiny bit. Let's try it. I'm gonna just knock it down. A few whatevers. Yeah, I don't know what those was the source. That was way too fast. It's something between. Yes! Sorry for shouting, but damn it, that was good.
Yeah, it was better.
That was good. Okay, so since we are doing this kind of old school approach to everything, we have to commit because we're not liberals. Okay, so we're gonna record this from the top. Let's. I'm gonna record just the Juno, so MIDI won't be there. Here we go. Ready? Recording. Just the Juno, yes. Allegedly. I like it. I'm actually pleased with the sound. But let me check. Yes, we recorded correctly in stereo. So good. Now let's remove this noise because that shouldn't be there. Excellent. And I like what I did with the piano.
Yeah.
It giving even more eeriness and more spooky.
And I like the fact that it was more spread out than before as well.
Yep. Yeah. Not as consistent. Now, how do we bring the Juno? The Moog. Because it's just they're collecting dust. I don't like that. So, right now, our Moog is working with the arpeggiator, if I recall correctly. It has this badass arpeggiator, which we can control actually with this. Let me just remember which controls which. Let me. Okay, but which one is controlled? Oh, okay, 100. Okay, good. So is this guy? Yes, got it. Okay, let's see. Because it would be nice to see if we can create another pattern using the setup that we got here right now with the Moog in a way to create a continuation, like a little bit of symmetry. Because we moved the song from one place to a completely different place, and using some elements from the previous stage or previous moment of the track can allow for some form of continuity, not necessarily comeback, but a callback. I will use callback because it will give you like, oh, look at that. They brought back the original theme. That works. So let's see. Let me find, let me see. We will have to do this from scratch. So our chord is this. So good. Let's bring back the other guy. That's not a bad start. Yeah. How about that? Let's see. I'm gonna press play. Yes, but where? That's the question. Yeah, right here with it hits the fan. Oh, that's good. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's quite cool. I think that the gate, not the gate, the
envelope.
sequencer,
Yes.
as you have it, I think the full on deactivated notes there, I think they are becoming way too choppy.
Yeah,
for the
I
thing.
agree. I agree. I am not necessarily happy with the sound right now. I will work with it, but I think the progression kind of works.
The progression works, yeah, and the
Oh,
sound is very good. It's just
yeah,
the
yeah, but
sequencing.
yeah, the fine details, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm gonna get to the Moog again. I'm not gonna record these guys. I'm gonna record just these guys. But we need to make sure that we can hear it. How can I do that? Let's do it. I'm gonna delete the sounds I get out of this, but it's gonna be just for the lols. That sounds great. Okay, here we go. Make sure that this guy record. Yes, I don't know. Here we go. there could be another blast into the resolution of the track. And Robbie, I don't know if it's the chorus because right now my progressive rock brain is taking over, and when I go there, I don't give a damn about structure. I just go with the flow. if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going full on hippy dippy on you. Let's say it could be a chorus. I don't know because being frank, it's working.
Yeah,
It sounds cool. It sounds cool. This is truly not commercial music, if that's what you're concerned with. Okay, but let's do it. Let's check the sound. I'm gonna delete what I printed because I just used that for monitoring purposes. Why? Because we can hear it still. If I put it where it begins. And this shows me that my performance was awful. I will need to quantize the entire thing. Let me check. Yeah, quantize. What was the quantization? I'm thinking in logic.
Well, don't ask me.
Yeah. I did. Quantize. There is. Done. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go from the back, and I'm gonna begin playing with the Moog because that particular section, I agree, it feels a little bit too choppy, right? It's not necessarily. We don't want it to be that choppy. We want it to be more sticky.
Yeah, because it draws way too much attention to itself.
Yes. So let's see. Okay. What do you think?
I think that sounds very cool, but there is something that is not clicking.
What's wrong with you?
Huh?
Where are you? What's wrong with you?
Just give me my take.
Where are you, Pedro Pascal or what? So let's say, what's wrong with you? No, for real. I'm asking for. No, it's not that I'm asking for your permission, but I would like to ask for your opinion.
No. The thing is that the sound itself, the sound design is very cool. The sound is working really well. There's something with this sequence that is making me don't know. I think it's the choppiness of it still. I think maybe if the envelope was a little bit slower, don't know.
Look at that, Ryan. You know. No, look. I don't know what he means, and I think he doesn't know either. So let's do it again. But one thing that I think I agree with him is that there are certain sections on which the choppiness becomes way too apparent. Let me explain. Let's take a look at the Moog.
Oh.
The Moog, right now, the way I have it set, I have plenty of. I am applying all sorts of modulations to the filter through the use of the matrix. If you want to see how I managed to get the sound, go back in time. There is a video in which we spent like 3 hours just working on the Moog. But when I go here and I play around with this particular knob, this one controls the amount of modulation applied to the filter. So the more I crank this up, the more choppy it becomes, and it starts to get kind of weird and iffy. That's part of the performance aspect, because at the beginning, when this section kicks in, I think this is a good sound because it's kind of broken and coming out in and out. And even if I go with the filter a little bit lower, so it's even more sketchy. You get me?
Yeah.
Because this creates all sorts of beautiful results, reactions, and accidents with the micro:bit. So there is value to that, and I want to preserve that. So I'm gonna press play again, and then I'm gonna check on the comments. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I feel ya. I know what you mean. I like it when it's super at the beginning, when it's moody and kind of atmospheric. It's not trying to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
But when I want it to be the center of attention, I am not necessarily feeling rewarded, if that makes sense.
Got you. Yeah.
It's not like yet, because I don't want this section to be yet, but I want it to be. Get me?
Yeah, very expressive.
Very expressive,
very clear.
very clever. Yes,
But I do think we all got it.
eloquent and stuff. Yeah, no, but that's the problem with music and sound. How do you explain this?
Yeah, but I think that's the best you can do.
Yeah, I think I think it is. So let me check the comments. The thing is this. Okay, is this part of the chorus? Well, we discussed that. The reason for asking is that I think it sounds like it could be a chorus. I was singing some lyrics that could go with it. Certainly, it could be a bridge. I see it more as a bridge, being frank, Robbie. But the thing is that, melodically speaking, not gonna go nerdy. Melodically speaking, we're starting to create tension, and I'm just elaborating on the previous phrase. Our note is this guy, and it's the same. I turned that into a drone. As you can see, we're basically droning the living stuff out of this note for the entirety of these several bars, and here's where we actually modulate it with this super dark sound, which is still kind of preserves the same vibe and atmosphere. But I want to bring back this section here after this kind of small hole that I created, where I leave this synthesizer, the Moog, playing by its own. Bringing this back and creating this guy, but full force, super intense, dramatic.
The delivery of the song.
The delivery of the track. So
Yeah.
that could be what you might be thinking as well, Robbie. Because imagine having that with plenty of action. Now even adding some kind of drums on top of it, like big toms or something. Creating this much more cinematic and kind of urgent vibe.
Yeah.
Get me? Yeah, we're getting places now because the track started off kind of like quasi techno and now it's somewhere else.
Weird,
But
cool.
it's cool. I like it. I'm actually quite excited because it's turning out to be great. Let me check this out. I'm gonna. We still have time? No, we're about to finish. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna press the track from the beginning. I'm gonna press play from the beginning so we can hear the track from the top. But I'm gonna get ready so I can actually perform. I'm gonna try to perform these guys, this section here, uh, following the track because it might be that isolated feels weird, but if we come from the top, it might give us a much better understanding of how the track is developing and feeling.
So you're gonna be recording your moves.
Yes. No, Mark, we began an hour ago, but if you wanna watch it from the top, you're more than invited. But we're live streaming these shows every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central, so we always announce them one day before. So please make sure to subscribe if you wanna keep track of this. But please ask as many questions before we go because we're gonna spend at least another 15 minutes working on this. Okay, so from the top again. And I'm gonna be doing some moves here to see if it feels correct once we reach to that point. Here we go, from the top. Okay, I found out how to make it better at the end.
Yeah.
It was easy. The way I fixed it was very simple. Let me show you. The way that the modulation on the Moog works, it has a polarity switch here. We were working all the way. Well, the beginning, we crafted this tone just by flipping it into negative. So it was affecting. It was mimicking everything here from the envelope because it's what is used as the thing as the modulation effect, but it was doing it inverted. So fast attack means slow for the envelope while retaining the attack on the synth. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna flip it to positive. So it's gonna mimic exactly what this guy's doing, and let's play it again. That was excellent.
Yep. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
So, sadly, we're over. We're finished. No, but look, now I got a plan. So next week, stay tuned. And Robbie, if you suggested the other day the thing with the vocals, yeah, sounds like a plan. Let me explain what I'm thinking on doing. I would like to have some vocals, but not in the sense of a fully fleshed track, like phrases, if you know what I mean. Having like phrases that I could actually sample and mangle and turn them into something weird. According to Robbie, it's turning into a Jan Michael Jer track. Do you know him? Look at that. So uneducated. Unwashed. What I dare say. No, it's I'm not familiar with him either Michael. Robbie, sorry. I'm just trying to make fun of him. No, but it's kind of cool. It's getting cool. It's getting cool. It's I wouldn't like to use the word cinematic because it doesn't sound cinematic. It's more of the more esoteric sounding electronic music, I would say. But I don't know if you get me, Robbie, because something like phrases that I can use sparsely throughout the track, maybe some vocal lines that could be, of course, melodic, then integrated into some form of quasi-chorus. Some of them could be mangled through the use of the sampler to create something stupid. You know what I mean, right? The same line. Good. Yeah, look, you're thinking the same way. Perfect, Robbie. Look, I think the track, as it is far from finished. It feels that we're hitting I like to always take a look at my time when I'm composing, because sometimes you go very indulgent and yeah, you're like, it's finished. Damn, it's 10 minutes long. No problem, but damn it, not everything has to be prog rock. So in this case, I think we're a minute away from finishing.
Okay.
Musical speaking. So the track's gonna end up being like 4 minutes something, like almost 5. So I think by next week we're gonna be putting the whole thing in order, in proper shape, So we can deal with something like sending a rough mix to you, Robbie, so you can, and we can do the whole session wire thing again. And he's saying here, I had a little bit of a few weeks called a title, yeah, fever of in static, or fever in the static, yeah, something like that, because it sounds quite electric, right? Due to the whole synthesizers and the samplers and stuff.
The thing is that I think that title made more sense last week before we added this
Oh, yeah.
darker kind of.
Yeah, because before it was kind of happier sounding.
Yeah, because now it took a turn for the worst.
Yeah, yeah, for the worst. Exactly. I will stick. Well, since I'm terrible at names, my proposition is to call it Fafo, but it's not necessarily the most marketable of titles. So yeah. So okay, Robbie. So if you're in on it, if you're interested, let's meet next week. Not just Robbie, everybody, of course. Finish off this guy, and then I will send a rough mix to you, so we can you can work on some phrases like, and you can go bananas. The idea is to go atmospheric as all balls. That makes no sense whatsoever. But you got
We got it.
You got it. So, if with that being said, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. I hope it made sense. The whole thing with the analog stuff. I'm planning on making an actual more profound or more in-depth video explaining the whole thing with MIDI in a way that makes sense, because it might be daunting, or you might be think like, but of course it's gonna work. You got those toys, but you can do many things with this. Because what if I tell you that you can actually control the parameters of the pedals through MIDI? And I didn't do it because I ran out of cables. Actually, because you can actually just imagine this: you can write automation lanes on a MIDI track, sending CC information to the reverb, the mangle verb.
Ah, okay.
Just think about that. Man, that would be badass.
Yeah.
So you can commit to that. But of course, this being a live show and stuff requires there are many moving parts. So I don't want to spend that much time. Yes. Okay. So all balls make sense to me. Okay. Perfect. So with that being said, if you're on the first channel, the best way to do this by listening to music on uploads to Spotify. That has nothing to do with this bad boy. I don't know what I'm doing today. I'm going crazy with this one. And also, you can support us by following us on Instagram and X, because that's the best way for you to get in touch with us on a much more personal basis. Also, you can join our Discord, where we can keep the conversation going and discuss everything regarding music production and, of course, music that doesn't suck. So, with that being said, as usual, the only thing left to remind it is that you should never let anybody tell you what to dream about. And remember that we will see you when we see you.